Hey, what's going on, guys? And welcome to another episode of Muay Thai Save Me. And unfortunately, today we don't have my business partner Neil, but he is on a cruise ship celebrating his birthday. Happy birthday, brother! You guys tell him happy birthday.
Happy birthday, crew.
Have fun on your cruise.
Nevertheless, we do have my co-host temporarily here, Kimberly and Amaya. We loved your last interview, and we wanted you back to help us out and kill it. So welcome back. But we do have a special guest today, Eric De La Cruz.
Thank you guys for having me.
A committed member. And we just thank you for coming by. We also have Gizmo here, not doing anything like always.
Chilling.
But if you ever feel nervous or anything, by all means, please get him, pet him.
Right.
You know, and all those things. So let's get it going, you know?
It's all good.
What's going on,
I'll
Eric?
let him sleep. What's up, you guys? How are you guys?
We're doing good. We're doing good, man. And what about yourself?
I'm all right. I'm good. I mean, no complaints whatsoever. So, got my training in today.
That's good.
So, I'm good to go.
Training over haircut, I heard.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you wanted to look
I
sharp.
needed to look sharp for today,
But you chose Muay Thai.
Yeah,
training over
that's
the
what
haircut?
happens a lot nowadays.
I like that, man. I like that. Sounds like quite the commitment there, man. But,
All right.
We thank you, man, for being here, man.
No, thank you for having me. Thank you
I'm
for having me.
excited to have you on because you've been with us for almost a year now.
Yeah, well, I've been with you guys for almost like a year and a half.
A year and a half now.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think we've ever really dove deep into your story. Who is Eric outside of the gym, you know?
Right.
So I'm really excited to hear all about that,
Right.
about your journey here with
Well,
us.
I mean, Eric De La Cruz, my name. I'm 32. I work as a lead carpenter for a high-end construction company. They deal with like high-profile clients on custom jobs and like historic buildings and stuff like that. So it's very, very particular clientele. And I've been doing that for the past 5-6 years. I've been in the construction industry for maybe like 12 years. So I've just been hustling, man, just working and staying stuck on work until I found this place. Now it's like my second sanctuary. At first, work was my sanctuary because I just got to focus on work when I'm there, running the guys, making sure everything's being done properly and stuff like that. But now, like, I have a second place that I like to go to and just be good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How did you find? First of all, have you ever done martial arts prior to MTK?
I did when I was younger. I did karate for like 4 years, almost 5.
Okay.
Yeah. I was doing Kempo karate and Kyokushin karate.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. But
Well, yeah, it's
I'm nodding my head like, oh,
There's like
yeah.
so many different types of karate. Yeah, I know. But it was cool. I really enjoyed it because like I grew up watching like kung fu movies and stuff like that, you know, Jackie Chan movies and stuff like that. So it was cool to get into it physically when I was a kid, right? But then it was when I was in my teen years. So like I kind of phased out of it and started working because as soon as I could start working, I started working. I needed to make my own kind of money. I had that hustle, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when I was old enough to do that, I kind of let go of a few things that I was really into, that being one of them. But until recent, I had always had a passion for it, always wanted to like keep training, and I did, like working out wise, but technique wise, I lost all that. So then like the passion for it was still there, but I was stuck on work. I was just hustling up until a few years ago that I was really like in the mood to start training it again. But for whatever reason, I wouldn't listen to that voice, you know, and there was a few times where on my way home from work, I'd pass by this place and I'd see the sign and I'd be like, dang, like Muay Thai sounds dope, because I already knew what Muay Thai was. I watched UFC, I watched One Championship, you know, so I was like, you know what, I should try something different. And finally one day I walked in here and I caught Crew like on point, just pulled me right into the office as soon as I told him I was interested in some classes. I was hyped about that.
That's cool.
Awesome.
That's
Mhm.
cool. You know, there's an old saying. They say the heaviest weight in any gym is the front door.
Right.
You know, which is the hardest thing to do for most people, and
Right.
it's true. You know, I mean, think how long you procrastinated before you did it, and we tell everybody once you come in through that door, we take over everything
Yeah.
else.
Right.
Where
Right.
were you at in that point of your life that you were like, I need to do something. I need to start getting active again?
Well, I had, like I said, I kind of like buried myself in my work, you know, just drowned myself in my work because I was just not, I was trying not to focus on other things that were going on in my life. And like one of the main things is I had been single for a long time, right? And in that time of being single, you get to really learn who you are, you know, you get to really reflect. And so when you're I'm just getting stuck in work because like if I don't go to work, I have really nothing else to do. So I'm over here getting side jobs. I'm over here doing this, doing that. Never really doing anything for me, right? And never really doing anything to better my relationships with people,
Right.
like socialize, right? I'm just being a hermit for like 7-8 years. I was like that.
Just straight single.
Yeah, like up until now.
You're not
we're-
single, right, anymore?
No, I'm not
Oh, okay,
single
we'll talk about
anymore.
that later.
Yeah, man.
Make sure,
I didn't
yeah.
like touch on there.
There you go.
But
Look at that smile! Wow.
Yeah.
A little glowy, a little
Yeah.
blushy.
I mean, it's a good feeling, bro.
Sure.
It's a really good feeling when you finally find that connection with someone after a long time, you know. But more so when you already know what you want,
Mm.
you know. And that wouldn't have happened if I wouldn't have had all that time to like think about me and trying to better my situation, trying to better my mentality, you know, trying to grow as an individual. And I was able to do a lot of that within that time where I was just focused on myself. Like, not even to sound selfish, because that's not the type of person I am, but like there's a power in that, you know.
Yeah.
Like just having time to yourself and trying to better your own situation, trying to better your own mentality. And when I finally got to a point where I was like, you know what, like I'm over here exactly like you said, I'm procrastinating. Like I keep passing by this place, like I want to see what's up. Like I need something else besides work. I come home with energy still. Like I need to burn that off. I need to somehow, but not in work anymore, because I kept taking side jobs and stuff like that to kind of compensate for the time that I had, right? But I needed something else that was for me, which is why I chose to come here. Like that is when I actually started. When I started here, I was like more, okay, this is my time. I'm here to work out. I'm here to put in like 100% effort. Like, for example, when I walked in with crew, I told them right away, I signed up for like the red package at that time. It was called the red package, right?
So you signed
Because
up
I
right
wasn't-
away. You didn't even try out.
No, I signed up right away because I'm like that. Like when I commit, I commit. That's it. But I wanted to try it out first and see if I would like it, one, and see how my body responded to it, two. I always took care of myself, but this is a different animal. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So I told crew though right away, I was like, just seeing everybody through that glass in that office that you guys have back there, I was like, oh man, that's it. I'm done. I was like, for sure, I'm most likely gonna upgrade to like black package, right? But like, is that possible? And he's like, yeah, for sure. I was like, that's definitely what's gonna happen. I'm probably just gonna do like a month of this to warm up and bump it up. And that's exactly what happened. So like finally having another place to go to and release all that, you know, that shit that you have in here and here was really, really good. And it did so much for me because, like I said, at first when I started here, I was closed off, kind of just in my own world, just focused on doing my thing, right? Not really saying hi to anybody or anything like that. But slowly but surely, this place like opened me up. Like I started talking to this person, started talking to that person. Oh, hey, Eric. Hi, Eric. What's going on? Oh, what's up, dude? And it just rubs off on you. Like, you just turn into that kind of person because you're around people that are on the same mission, you know? And it feels good.
That's cool, man.
Mm-hmm.
Because honestly, that's our complete mission, in which I think the members themselves has kind of taken over and hostage it, because they used to be like, this is the kind of culture we wanted. And now it's like, even last night with you guys, like just seeing you guys, and it was like I don't know, but it made me feel really good. You guys did a post that said MTK boys or something like that. And I was just like it's beyond us already at that point, you know what I mean?
Right.
But like at one point we would talk and be like, we need a community. We need to build something that like makes people feel like this is their sanctuary. Like this is where they come and they feel like this is theirs. You know what I mean? It's no longer ours. It's everybody's, you know? You know, and now having a second location, and like even felt weird coming in here today because I haven't been here for like a week, and it's just and it just felt like amazing to see like the trainers and just the students and then the staff and everybody just taking it on their own and just running with it. You know what I mean? That just felt amazing, and that's your story, exactly what you said. It's like what we shoot for and what we wanted. Like that's what we wanted. You know what I mean? We wanted a community that, in a sense, like ran on its own and just spread out like a wildfire, you know?
Right. Well, that's exactly what happens, man, because I see it happen time and time again, new people coming in and stuff like that, and they just, right away in the office, like, okay, where do I sign?
Yeah. It's contagious. The energy is contagious here. Like you said, everybody in here is on the same mindset, on the same mission. So when you bring in those people, they're like, I want to be a part of this.
Right.
And then you guys cultivate friendships and relationships out of it. It's super cool to see.
Yeah.
So tell us about like your first class experience. Like what were your expectations walking in, and then walking out? How did you feel? Were you like, what did I get myself into?
Well, I did have a moment of that, kind of, but like not so much in a bad way. Like, okay, like how am I gonna make this work in my schedule now because I want more of it? That's when I had that kind of thought, was like, what am I gonna do about that now? But my first class was awesome. Like I wanted to do a second class right after, but I had something to do afterwards, so I wasn't able to. But I found a good partner that same day, right? It was his first day too. So we got partnered up and we were just like, you know, playing around like everyone does on their first day, just like smashing the pads, you know, as hard as you can because you think you have to and stuff like that. But it felt good to move that way again. Yeah. Like the body didn't forget, you know. I had a different way of moving then, obviously, because Muay Thai and karate way different. But like it felt refreshing because I was learning something new, and I wanted more of it, like right away. The first class, I like I said, I was already in pretty good shape, and being in construction, I mean, like you're in pretty decent shape. Your cardio's up there because it has to be, you know. So sometimes you're working in like crazy heat like this, like in the sun and stuff. So the workout, it killed me, but in a good way. Like I loved it. I liked it. I was like, oh, hell yeah. Like for sure this is for me. And so right away I told the crew, like, yeah, I'm happy with this for sure. Like give me a little bit of time and I'm going to be upgrading that package because I see myself being in here every day. But afterwards when I left, I couldn't stop smiling. It felt good. Like to find a place like this where you can just show up, put in that work, suffer with everyone else for a little bit, right? Everyone's suffering together, and then you go home cheesing, dude, because like you just feel so good. Like those endorphins are just running through your body, and you just like, you feel like if you come in early, you feel like you're ready for the day, right? Like on the weekends, I'll come in like 11 o'clock, sometimes 8 o'clock, and you feel like you're ready to take on the day once you like leave that door, right? But during the week, it feels, because I come in later in the afternoon, it feels like a good, all right, like now I'm done for the day. Like now I'm good. Like I can calm down. and chill. The mind still works like you
Right.
said, but
Yeah.
the body is like, okay, let's chill.
Yeah.
Let's relax.
What I like that you touched on was that after your first class, you were like, how am I going to make this work?
Mm-hmm.
In the sense that you have a busy schedule and a really demanding job.
Right.
To people who make, because that's everybody's excuses. Oh, I don't know how I'm going to make this work with my job, or I'm always tired after work. What kind of mindset have you cultivated for yourself that's made you think like, man, like I need to make this work in a sense that I need more of this for me?
Well, it's because, I mean, like I said, you get so locked up in work, you get so trapped in your day-to-day life, right?
Yeah.
And for me, at least, like I get super zoned in and super focused on what I'm doing.
Yeah.
It just happens. Like I can't, and that goes to this place too. Like I can't not be good at something.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I just don't allow myself that for whatever reason. But when I'm here working out, I get something that I don't get from anywhere else. Like I'm sometimes I'm exhausted, right, after a long day at work, but I feel better coming out of here than I do being off of work. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like someone else is like, oh, finally work is over. I'm like, hell yeah, I get to go to the gym now. Like I'm excited about something even after putting in those 8 hours. And honestly, it just boils down to that excitement. How into it are you really?
Yeah.
How much work are you willing to put into yourself?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that's what this is for. You know what I mean? It's for you. It's not for anyone else. And you get what you put into it. If you wanna make the time and put your body through that so you can get to a better place, why not? You know?
Yeah.
Definitely.
I love it. I think that's what a lot of people don't realize. It's not the fact that I have to work out. It's get to work out.
Yeah, exactly.
Like your body has that capability to work out, so take care of it, you know? Push yourself to that next level.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, I agree, man. It's I definitely like, and if you guys have heard in my previous podcast, like I just lost about 30 to 35 pounds in the last 8 months, you know? Yeah. And it's, you don't really realize it like until you really get into it. Like even myself, I think that's been probably my most difficult thing. I love working just like you. I've done it since my early 20s, and like just recently I'm like, I need to change my life because I'm in my 40s now, and it's like, how long can I really run this way?
Right.
And you know, like it's time, you know. But I've always made it an excuse because of work and everything. But just recently, like now, I genuinely have fell in love with it. You know what I mean? It's like it has to be part of my routine. Good. It makes me feel great. It makes me make better decisions when I eat. It makes me feel amazing when, you know, I'm doing activities outside of, you know what I mean, work or with my kids or whatever it might be. Right. And it gives you clarity, you know what I mean? And like makes me feel like shit, dude, like this is amazing, you know. And you know, you can't dwell on the past because, you know, everybody thinks like, I wish, you know, I would have started a business before. I wish I would have worked out before. It doesn't matter, you know. There's that old saying, when's the best time to plant a tree? That was 30 years ago. And then the second is today. You know what I mean? And that's how I look at it, and that's how I run, you know, because I feel amazing, you know. And I tell people like, best thing I could have ever done was done it, you know, in my 20s, and I would have looked amazing. But you can't worry about that shit. You move on forward, and it's the same thing. It's the same concept, you know. Like it's a privilege to work out, man. It's a privilege to, you know, even work in our businesses and everything. But if you could balance in a sense, you know what I mean, that it just makes you that much more stronger, you know what I mean? And you're technically doing more in life, you know. You're doing more within the day because like you said, you know, there's people that get off of work 8 hours and they're like, let me go crack a beer. But you're in a different mindset. You're like, I just fucking finished construction work. Now I'm going to go hit the gym and do Muay Thai. And we see you here almost every day, if not every day, that you come here. And it's like, that's the difference between a winner and a, you know, mediocre person who just fucking coasts through life and just, you know, and eventually you either pay the price now, you pay it later, but your body will catch up to you, your mind will catch up to you, and I applaud you for that because
I appreciate
it's all mindset, man, and eventually, sooner or later, like you either ignore it and you know what I mean, your life ends, which it will for all of us. Or you fucking you give it your all and you give it your best and you say, you know what, I gave it my all. And I thank God that like right now I'm still physically able to make these changes in my life because just like yourself, I want to be a testimony to people to be like, aside from business, you know, like, hey, this is what I did and look at where I'm at because of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
At any age, you know, because we have people that are older,
Right.
you know,
Yeah,
50s,
in their
60s that are
60s.
coming in here and like, you see them and like they came in here and their bodies were hurting and this and this and that. And because they're constantly being active now, you know, they go through the steps or stairs or whatever it might be, and you see the changes in their life and they're
Right.
happier because of it. So it's like,
100%.
it's an overall for all ages. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And I mean, like they say, you have to do extra to be extraordinary, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just ordinary.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you
I
have to
like
put in
that.
that extra work, dude. You can't be afraid of that. You have to be comfortable being uncomfortable,
I like that.
you know?
So if
Mhm.
you had one piece of advice for someone who's like, oh, work takes over my life, or I don't have time to make it to the gym, what would you say to that person?
It's not that you don't have time, you're not making the time.
Yep.
That's it. Bottom line. Because I thought I was a busy individual. Man, there are people who are more busy than I am and do more than I do in different aspects, and they still find time.
Yeah.
They don't find time, they make time. They make the time for
Yeah.
it. And that's ultimately, it goes back to what we were just talking about. It all depends on how much work you're willing to put into it. Like, if you want it, you'll make the time.
Yeah.
If you don't, I'm sorry, but I mean, you don't want it that bad, you know?
I agree. How often do you train now?
I
see you
for
almost every day.
sure Monday through Friday.
Okay.
And weekends, it all depends on what's going on with the family or something like that. If I can squeeze it in, I'll come in. But, I mean, usually I'll do like 6 days for the
Nice.
most part. Mm-hmm.
That's cool. And you do all the camps too as well, right? The
Yeah,
specialty camps
yeah.
that we do.
Every camp, I've been to every camp. I need to be there, yeah.
I love
And
it,
then
bro.
the seminars, the fights. The fights are fun, dude.
I love the
I love
fights,
going
yeah.
to the fights, bro, because it's just a cool vibe at the fights. But yeah, I haven't missed a single event since I started here.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the commitment, man. And you know, one thing that me and Kim were talking about, you know, when we were wanting to have you, and we were discussing about having you on the podcast was, I wanted to touch bases into like what happened to you. You know, I think it's been, I don't know how long ago it was, but you had an injury.
Yeah,
They
almost
had-
2
they-
months.
Almost,
yeah.
it's been 2
Time
months.
passes
Okay, there
so
was
fast.
There was quite very I don't know the word to use, but like it was serious, a serious event that
Right.
happened to you, and I'll let you speak on that. But not only that, I didn't even know it was just only 2 months ago. It felt like
it was
a little longer.
like, yeah, it was probably about 3 months ago that it happened.
And it came out of
I've been back for,
nowhere,
like,
I feel
2
like.
yeah,
Like
it
you
did.
left that day, you were fine.
Yeah.
You dive a little bit more into like what happened and the
Well,
details on that.
I mean, the way it started is I just started getting some crazy headaches, right? And I'm used to headaches. I've been getting migraines since I was a kid, you know, so like it is what it is, and that's what I thought it was at first. The only thing that kind of felt different is I hadn't had one of those in a long time since I changed my diet like several years ago. But all of a sudden I just started getting these crazy wild headaches that felt like migraines at first, and they just started getting worse and worse and worse until one day at work it was probably like maybe 9:30, 10 in the morning, not even through the whole day, and like I just fell to my knee, dude, because I that's how bad the pain was, and it came out of nowhere like a wave, and I was like, oh hell no, like I can't, like I gotta go to the emergency room or something, get this checked out, because no way, like I can't even focus right now, let alone like work and stuff, and then I'm over here having pain like this. Nah. So it's something serious, you know. So I took off, and I asked for them to do like a CT scan and stuff like that, just to make sure everything's all right, because like my head is just pounding. And so they put me in, they scanned me, and then not even 5 minutes passes like after I leave the CT scanning room, that the guy who like looks at the radiologist, he right away came up to me and he's like, you need to go to the emergency room now. you have a lot of blood in your head. Like, you need to go now. And I was like, what? So I mean, what am I gonna do? Like, okay, I guess. Like, I was just going with the flow, right? And everyone was kind of tripping out that I was like so calm about it. But what am I gonna do? Stress out, you know? So they admitted me. I go in, and then my family comes in. Everyone's tripping out, and that was the worst part, dude. That was the worst part of it all. Like, the pain and all that, like the recovery. The worst part was seeing the look on everyone's faces, like everyone worried, you know? And that was the hard part. But anyways, they took me in, right? Surgery, it was like 2 in the morning. They took me in. What had happened is there was like a big subdural hematoma inside my head, and it was like a bunch of blood collecting and pushing my brain to one side of my skull. And my brain had already shifted over like 1.5 millimeters to one side, and that's what was causing the crazy headaches. Is my brain was just getting squeezed. So they cut my skull, right, and then they sucked the blood out, and then they stitched it back. Well, they stapled it back up, put it back together. I got a plate in here and stuff, and then I'm waking up, and I'm just like, hey, Christian, like my nurse or whatever at the time. I was like, what's up, Christian? Everyone was like tripping, like, oh my God, like, how do you even remember his name? Like, usually people have a hard time coming back to, like, after this surgery, right? Because it's brain surgery, it's a craniotomy. And so I was just like, what's up? What's going on? They take me to my room, and then, dude, I look at my face. My face is like beat up because of what they were doing. My eye is like all swollen. I got the staples on my head. I'm like, dang, like Frankenstein. But after that, it was just a long hospital stay, like a week. I was in the hospital just trying to recover. And there was another procedure that they were supposed to do, which is like an embolization. So where I started bleeding, they wanted to go in and like burn it to cauterize it so it doesn't happen again, right? And in the middle of that, they had to stop because apparently a nerve from my eye was like too close to where they needed to burn it. So if they would burn it, there was a chance that I could go blind in my right eye. And so he stopped, and I was like, I'd rather keep my vision, dude. Thank you. That's fine. I'll just take it easy, you know? And after that, it was maybe another 2 days, and then I got out of the hospital. After then, it was like a month and a half of recovery. But they told me, like, they were tripping out when I showed up. At first, they were like, how are you even, like, how did you drove here? I was like, yeah, I drove here. Like, I drove myself. Like, and then they were like, how did you, someone with this much blood in their head should be in a coma, they told me.
Wow.
Yeah, insane. Dude. I was like, what? And they're like, you drove here? You went to work today? What are you doing? Like, no, you can't. I was like, well, how the hell am I supposed to know? I didn't know that. And that's why I'm here. You know what I mean? And then usually people need like a good amount of physical therapy, speech therapy. Sometimes like there's memory loss. And thankfully, bro, like I'm good. Like none of that. I was able to get out of my bed, walk around. Like even my nurses were like tripping. Like like I'm happy to say that, you know what I mean? It's not even me boasting or bragging. No way, dude. I would not want to go through that again. But the fact that I was able to bounce back so well, like, man, I'm so happy and grateful for that.
That's amazing, man. And honestly, like, since the moment you started speaking, like, you just have this sense of like, you seem like a relentless person, you know what I mean? And you know, and you seem like an individual, like just your work ethic and everything, how you talked about even prior to coming to Muay Thai, and even seeing you train, you were always like that guy that gave it you're all and like you give the hardest fist pumps. I remember.
Yeah,
I'd be
got the
"What?"
iron
Eric
fist
be like,
pump.
"Bah!" Like, you know what I mean? Like prior to everything, I'd be like, damn, is it just me or am I? Is it Eric gives some heavy ass fist pumps? You know, but you know, you talked about that the hardest part was seeing your family worried about you. Because you can tell you're a strong individual, but what
Right.
was it about that kind of really crushed you, and really was it that that really got to you that you were like, fuck, like my family's hurting, you know?
Right. For me, it's just like I'm the youngest one. I'm at a 3. I have 2 older sisters, and they call me the little big brother, right? Because I've always tried my best to be like the strong one, right? Or the calm and collected one, right? When shit gets crazy, right? I try to be there and resolve things, right, as much as possible. And so when I'm the cause of them being worried, like it was just a different aspect, different perspective, I guess, because I'm used to being the one helping resolve the issues, right? I'm not used to being one of the people. I'm not used to making them feel like they need to worry about me. They've never had to worry about me, right? I've always been able to take care of myself. And to see them, because they were tripping out, like their whole facial expression was just different, and you could tell that they were really worried, bro. And for me, I almost felt like I was being a little selfish too, because like I put my all into things, right? And I come here and I put my all into that too. And sometimes I just like doing stuff that to most people would be dangerous, right? Like skydiving, like stuff like that. Like I like extreme shit.
Right.
So when I see their faces, I'm like, dang, like maybe I should tone it down a little bit, right? Like, oh, I don't know what's going on with this. Like, maybe I should take better care of myself or whatever. But I am. You know, now I think back on it, this is me taking care of myself, right? Because but that was just how I felt in that moment, because like coming back in the room and seeing them see my face after the surgery and stuff like that, like worried about how I'm gonna look when it's all over, when I'm recovered, or how I'm gonna feel, or if I'm gonna still be feeling like shit, you know? And like that's all that could go through my mind is, what are they thinking? And it just worried me. It worried me, but at the same time, it pushed me. It motivated me. It inspired me to get better as fast as possible, so you don't have to worry about me anymore. You know what I mean? Like, don't trip. That's what I told them too. I'm like, this ain't gonna keep me down. I'm good. You know, don't worry about that. It's all good. I'll be fine.
And coming out of that, do you look at life different, or are you like, no, I'm good where I was at, it just this happened and I'm just gonna continue to do the way? Or has there been changes aside from like, you know, like just changes of the way your relationships or anything like that? Has that changed, or how do you look at life now, you know, going through that?
Now, as far as my own like goals and my own like my own drive and stuff like that, it's still there. Like I still want, I'm on the right path. I'm cool. I'm good. Like, you're not gonna slow me down. That's not gonna slow me down. But it was a reality check. Like, remember, bro, you're human. You know what I mean? You can get hurt. Like, so just check yourself. Like, don't go around thinking you're like a superhero or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, it was just a reminder of my humanity is really what it was. Like, the fact that the body can still be pretty damn fragile. But as far as my mentality, like it didn't really shift anything. Maybe just I need to, like I said, like watch it probably a little bit, like tone it down a little bit, or at least like keep other people in consideration, right? Because especially my mom, bro, and like my sisters, like they were just really worried about me, and I wouldn't want that to happen again, you know, in any kind of way. But I would be more upset with myself if I let that stop me from accomplishing the goals I already had set in my mind. You know, like, if anything, it was just a stepping stone. Yeah.
I get a big sense of, and this probably comes from like all the time that you've put into yourself, but you just seem so at peace with who you are as a person and where you are in life. And I feel like that carries into whatever situation comes in your way. And I just find that very like beautiful, and like it gives me like
I
peace.
agree.
Yeah,
like all BS. Like you
Thank
make
you.
me feel like I don't know, man. Like you just like you went through this, and you're not blaming anybody or anything. You're just like, nah, I'm still moving forward. Yeah, I got to make a couple changes, but I'm still moving forward. And it's like that Rocky story. Like you know, life, you know, shit hit you, and it hit you hard. And anybody else, it could have broken. You know, I think I was talking to our producer Paul, and he was just stating about his career with football and all that. And he said, like, some of these athletes who get injured or something happens, and sometimes like their comeback is even stronger when they have a hit. And he was talking. He was just telling me about like injuries that he's had, and multiple of them that unfortunately he had to pivot. But he's like, those stories are the most inspirational ones, because you're just like, you seem like a superhero, because you're just like, wow, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's huge. I mean, anybody else, it would have been like, I'm done. I'm not doing anything, or like scarcity, or I'm staying home, or you know what I mean? But you understand it, you accept it, you respect it,
Right?
But you continue to move.
That's
forward.
the right word.
Does that make sense? And like that is like, wow. You're not saying fuck it, whatever. You're just saying like, okay,
right.
I get it. I'm human, but I still have dreams. I still love this.
Yeah.
And, going based off of that, I wanted to tap into, your girl, you know what I mean? And she was there on your side. She's the one who let us know and everything. And you guys, if you don't mind talking about a little bit about that, you guys met here, right? And you guys are in a relationship now. And then also your family here in MTK, like, how was that? You know what I mean, for you?
That was awesome. Like, let me start at the beginning. Okay. So yeah, as far as she goes, dude, she was there every day, as much as she possibly could be. Like, low key behind my back, like getting the nurses stuff to eat and stuff like that, so that they're hyped up to take care of me. Right? Like, yeah, bro. So like, it just showed me a side to her that, like, I really, really appreciated. I mean, like, and I will continue to appreciate, because for someone to like not really, well, she did a little bit to kind of put your life on hold, right? Because someone else kind of needs your help, right? That's a big deal, and for you to be so attentive is a huge thing, like, especially in this day and age, because a lot of people find it really easy to just be like, okay, okay, oh shit, he needs me. That's what she said. So she stood there. She's by my side as much as possible. The only time she wasn't there was when she had to work, and that's it. So for that, I will always appreciate you.
Oh,
that's amazing, man.
And like, it just brought us closer, like, it made me look at her, and I was like, you know what, for sure, like you're a partner, you know what I mean? You're not just a girlfriend, you're a partner, for sure.
That's important.
And as far as the MTK family goes, though, I can't even thank them enough, because they went you guys were in it, so everyone went as far as to like put a little video together and like just wish me the best, and like just push me to get better and let me know that everything is going to be all right. You know, everyone just tried to motivate me and push me. And dude, it must have been like at least like 30 people. And what are you going to say to that? You know, you think you're just a guy who comes in and trains and says hi to everybody, and people go, you know, on about their day. But here they are taking, like, even if it was like 30 seconds, a minute out of their day to like make a quick video or send a quick message or whatever. Like, it felt like a family. That's the perfect word for it, because that's what family does, dude. You know, pushes you to get better when you feel low. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what it did, man, because I'd like to sit here and say that the whole time I was, oh yeah, I'm fine. I was, for the most part, you know, but there were a couple of times where, like, I was just like, man, like, and it was mainly because I couldn't get back to my normal life yet. That was mainly why. But it did get to me sometimes. And those videos came at like the perfect time, because that day in particular that I saw the videos all put together and stuff like that, because Flo and Christine like put that all together and stuff. And like, that was just the perfect day, because I was really low that day. I was like, man, like, I really got to get back into it, like get back to work. But the biggest thing was for me to get back here, because like, and that's just being real, because like, I'm just so happy when I'm here, and I'm so happy when I leave. Like, it just brings this different kind of energy out of you, and I knew I needed that to feel better. Does that make sense? Yeah. But I couldn't get it, you know, and it sucked. But getting a little piece of the gym by seeing all these people in these videos, that was really cool. Like, it lifted my spirits that day for sure. And then that's when I was like, you know what, like, if I can't be there physically, like, forget it. Like, maybe I can like text crew or Jan or Kim, like, maybe they'll let me like sit in on the classes and at least like take notes and like watch and stuff like that. And sure enough, you guys let me do that. So that was awesome.
Which, by the way, I don't know, man. Like, you are
relentless.
Like just I just admire you so much. I remember seeing you here the first, and I was like, all right. And
yeah.
Like, he just wants to see, and I was like, I don't know. That was just very, like, it just makes everything worth it. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people think like, you know, and there's a lot of companies out there that they just run and they want to have a business, you know, but our model, and especially Neil's, like, you see Neil, he knows like all 600 members' names and everything. And it's just crazy, but it's like, behind the scenes, we have these weekly meetings and everything. We talk about like, what's the best that we can do for our community, you know what I mean, with our second location and everything. And we're like, how can we duplicate this and yet not lose what is our foundation, which is community, you know what I mean? And I think, like, even you don't have to be, you know what I mean, going back to like exactly what the members did, you get that every single day here with the community. Like, you get that push, you get that don't quit, you get that where have you been, you get those let's hang out at the beach, let's go to your birthday party, you get all of that, injured or non-injured. Like, it's just who the community is, you know what I mean? But seeing you here, and just all I don't remember who it was, but they were like, he just wants to see. And I'm like, this motherfucker is crazy, because he understands that, like, if I can get my mind strong, everything else will follow. You know what I mean? Exactly. And I remember after that, I saw you shadow boxing. You're just doing nothing. I think that's what it was, right? I don't remember the steps, but I remember just seeing you shadow box. Nothing else. You didn't hit pads. And then after that, I saw you in a class. And after that, hitting pads. And I'm not sure where you're at, because you're here back again on the regular, but like, I admire that just for the simple fact that, because I myself am guilty of it, of many excuses of why I couldn't take care of my body. Yeah. And then here you are, not even 2-3 months ago, you're here being the perfect example of like, I this is what's taking care of me to continue to push, and because I was able to keep my health at a certain level, it's probably why I continue to push, and I had my why of why to come back. You know what I mean? A lot of people had, and it probably could have been a valid excuse. I think if you would have not came back and you would have told people, look, guys, I don't want to do this. This is what I went through. I think your everyday individual, even probably myself, would have been like, hey, bro, I get it. But the fact that you did that, it's so inspirational because you're like, at least for me, I'll take that with me. And then after this podcast, knowing more about your life, it's like, I can't fucking make excuses. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm tired, or I don't want to eat, or I don't want to do this. And I'm like, you have individuals like yourself. They're like, I'm going back.
Right.
Yeah.
Baby steps, but I'm going back. But it's 3-4 months, and you're full going throttle, man. And I applaud you for that, and I thank you for that, because we make this podcast for those people that are looking out there. But honestly, I'm sitting here and I'm like, man, I'm gonna take this one with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because what excuse do you have after an individual like yourself has gone through all that, and then you're being the perfect example of what it takes to continue to push and win?
Right.
So I applaud you for that, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I mean, you said it. Like, that's one of the things that made me want to come back, is the fact that if I wouldn't have been in such great shape, I was in good shape before. I'm in great shape now. If I wasn't in such great shape, the doctors even told me that it would have been really hard for me to recover from that so fast. But the fact that I recovered as fast as I did, like, it was surprising to them, but they told me that one of the main things that helped me was the fact that I was in such good shape. Your cardiovascular system is in such good condition. I see you pulling out of this fine. How long? I don't know. And then I'm coming back for my my checkups and stuff like that, and they're like, how did you bounce back so fast? Wow. You know? And honestly, I feel like it's because of this place. 100%. There were times where I was in the hospital, like in the hospital bed or whatever, and the freaking machine would go off because my heart rate was so low. But that's because my heart rate is just naturally low because of the work I put in here. You know what I mean? So it was just little things like that that made me feel like, okay, I'm doing the right thing. I just need to bounce back from this so I can get back to it. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Amazing. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah.
Right.
I think a lot of people don't know, but Muay Thai is really good for your cardiovascular system.
Yes, 100%.
It also releases endorphins, it releases stress, you know, along with like the whole muscle toning and weight loss. So that's super, super cool to see it, like, and like your doctors told you, like, how did this happen?
Right.
And like you said, like his cardiovascular system was so strong because you train Muay Thai so often.
Yeah.
So happy that we were able to be like that 1.5% of the journey, because the rest was all you.
So am I.
Yeah, that mentalness of
Yeah.
he has is
You're
just
ruthless.
amazing, man, and I applaud you for that. But
Thank you.
anyways, Eric, I just wanted to thank you so much for coming by and sharing your story and your experience. And I know this is only the beginning, and definitely it's inspired me and it's touched me to continue to push and not be a little bitch at times, you know what I mean? But fuck, man, like I'm telling you, man, amazing story. And I can't wait for people to hear this, for those out there. But once again, thank you so much for coming by.
My pleasure. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, man. And once again, guys, thank you guys for listening. And don't forget to share, to like, and subscribe. And until next time, take care.